how much better is Jet over Obliviana's second best option? And if you happen to pull Oblivion elsewhere, is it even worth it? Today, we're talking about weapons, stats, and calculations. Let's get into it. We'll begin by comparing cohesive traction to Jet for Obliviana. When maxed out, Jet gives around 100 more base attack, which is a 12% increase. Both give a very similar amount of main stat, with Jet only giving 8 points more. Next, Jet gives 39% attack compared to cohesive traction's 35% electric damage. While this sounds similar on paper, there's a landslide gap between these two buffs. In Endfield, attack percent is extremely undiluted compared to many other games. On Obliviana, you only have the 15% from the Bone Crusher effect, and possibly another 16% from Thermite Cutter. Without any flat attack in play, attack percent is essentially an entire multiplier by itself. You might be thinking that there's a lot of attack percent from attributes, and you would be right, but unintuitively, the attack percent from attributes is multiplied by the attack product after attack percent, which means that in the grand scheme of the damage formula, attribute bonus may as well be its own multiplier, as it is already multiplicative with the buffed attack value. On cohesive traction, electric damage is additive with type-based damage bonuses such as skill damage bonus, which you already have an ungodly amount of from the Bone Crusher set. Finally, let's look at the unique effect. Cohesive traction grants up to 28% combo damage dealt, and in a perfect scenario, 3 stacks of 28% skill damage. Jet, on the other hand, has 3 different arts damage dealt values of up to 33.6%, though for most people, this will only be 19.2% without dupes. Note the funny wording here of the effects not stacking with themselves. This just means that you need to do both a skill and combo to get both buffs, but they do indeed stack with each other. When running the simulations for each of these weapons, these are the results. There's quite a big gap between even a maxed out cohesive traction and a single copy of Jet, with Jet pulling ahead by over 30%. But is Jet the be-all and end-all? What about Oblivion for Perlica? Perlica is cute and all, but there's a number of things I wouldn't give her. One being PayPaling her $30,000, and the other would be Oblivion. Detonation unit provides an arts damage taken debuff, which is very significant for the team's damage, while Oblivion is an extremely powerful weapon for Perlica herself. The rest of your team suffers as a result. Even if you invest in Perlica as much as your Obliviana, the team DPS is still a bit lower. Note that when running Oblivion, it's better to main DPS on Perlica over Obliviana. And in any scenario, it's always worth using Perlica's finisher over Obliviana's, due to its scaling with all arts damage bonuses, as opposed to Obliviana's physical finisher. At the end of the day, though, it'd still be better to run a maxed out Wild Wanderer for buffs. Even if you have Detonation unit and use it on Antal, that combination still falls a bit short of just using Detonation unit on Perlica and a maxed out OBJ on Antal to buff Obliviana further. In addition to that, nerfing Perlica's arts intensity will not be ideal for the adjusted high investment team rotation. So this video was supposed to talk about weapon math, but while we're on the topic of extremely small optimizations to the electric team, I did end up running more numbers on the total team's damage to answer the question I had in the previous video of what the point would be where breaking Arknight's damage to build Arc's intensity wouldn't be worth it. It turns out if you have both Arclight and Perlica at P4, where Arclight's P4 allows her to use Frontier set and still meet the energy requirement, and Perlica's P4 enhances her Electrify from a Tier 1 12% baseline to a Tier 2 16%. Yes, the tooltip is wrong. You can instead just rely on Perlica for Electrify, which would be slightly weaker than Arclight's Tier 4 Electrify, when built with Arc's intensity. But the benefit you'd get from a combination of Arclight running Frontiers and being able to use Perlica's combo freely yields roughly a 5% team damage increase. Normally, we put Aviwana ahead of Perlica so that we don't break the Electrify before the burst. But with the modified version, you can let Perlica combo first, which will give you a little more combo DPS on Aviwana. Anyways, that's it for this little math video. See you guys next time. Bye bye!